All right, welcome, man. Cube Show Podcast, college football podcast comes to you weekly. We go through the SEC games. We watch the film. We tell you what we saw. Some travel issues, obviously, over the weekend with everything that's going on. Had trouble getting back from Charlotte, so a little bit late today. But we're brought to you by Wickles Pickles, wickedly delicious. You guys know that. Go get your Wickles Pickles. A lot of people have told us that you've tried them thanks to the show, and now you love them. So that's fantastic. We love hearing that. So keep doing that. Not as many games to get to today, so we're going to have a little bit of a quicker show. Maybe talk a little bit more about next week when we come up here in a minute. But just in case, go click the like button and subscribe right now, please. We're trying to get up there. Josh makes fun of us, but we're trying to get this thing up there where it's a respectable podcast and show. So thank you guys for tuning in. All right, let's roll right in. Alabama, LSU. This was one that I thought defensively LSU could keep this thing a little bit closer, maybe keep this thing competitive. Nussmeier goes 18-21, 121 yards. Pocket presence, a little bit lacking here. He rolls right into the rush one time. I thought there were a couple other instances he could have stepped up or moved a different direction, helped himself out some. The benching thing, I didn't really see it, didn't understand it, didn't know what you were going to get with Van Buren. You do get a little bit more as a runner with some of the things he was able to add, but I just don't know why that was the move right then there. I didn't see enough change really offensively from a formation standpoint and play calling standpoint that you were able to even some things up and do different things. It was a little bit more of the same. Do think some of the receivers helped out a little bit with some catch and run, made some tough catches. I think Harlem Berry's starting to see it a little bit better. There were times earlier this season where it was pretty obvious where that run should have gone. He kind of didn't see it and would still go somewhere that he wasn't supposed to instead of making a cut or staying with it. He's got a little extra flow now where he has an idea that play's supposed to break, when it's supposed to develop, how it's supposed to develop, making his cuts a little bit later. He looks smooth in this game, so future bright there for him. He's coming along looking pretty good. Ty Simpson, 21-35, 277, a touchdown, no picks. Alabama ran 21 times for 56 yards. So that's the big question for everybody right now. Like, what's happening with the run game? Why is the run game bad for Alabama? First off, I'll say this. In order to be able to run the football, you got to live that life. That needs to be the neighborhood that you live in. You cannot be a multi-home family and just travel around and live in different places, different neighborhoods, different cities. Like, you're not at the beach one week and your mountains home the next week, and then you come back to your real home and try to be a member of that society, neighborhood, community, and sort of make things work there. It's not how it goes. You either live that life or you don't. And it's not saying that Alabama doesn't, but you guys tell me, how many games this year has Alabama gone out and said, we are going to impose our will on this football team on the ground? Ready, set, go. Maybe Wisconsin, maybe Missouri to a little bit of an extent, but like, this is not happening a lot, and that's okay. Tell me the teams that are in contention right now, when we're talking about the college football playoff, that you see as dominant rush teams. Because this is this mantra that's going around with everybody of, it's going to cost them a championship. They got to learn, run the football. Is Ohio State dominant on the ground? No. Indiana's good on the ground. Dominant? No. A&M's not dominant on the ground. I think they can be a good run team, but they have a similar thing going as Alabama. They're in shotgun drop back too much, or the quarterback's too many options than just handing it off. I think Georgia has the best chance to be when we get into it. I mean, you'd have to go Ole Miss, Oregon, Texas State. You got to get to Notre Dame at 9, a team that I would even begin to qualify as dominant on the ground. Texas isn't. Oklahoma isn't. Vandy maybe could be, but there's the ways they do it. So I thought Miami was going to be this year. They're really not. Georgia Tech does in different ways. Utah probably should be with those two tackles they have. But it's who's dominant on the ground? So to sit here and put Alabama in this classification of can't run the ball, won't win a title, as opposed to who else? Nobody's dominant on the ground that's competing for a national championship right now. Some have better run games than others. Some have leaned on it at times. A&M struggled to run the ball in the red zone this week. Multiple times, short yardage didn't look great. So the good news for Alabama is there are other things that they are good at. They have a quarterback that can run everything. This play is a perfect example of it right here. So you get Ty Simpson, first off, under center, I formation, Cuevas at fullback. How beautiful is that? But watch him come play action here, heavy play action, turn his back to the defense, and rip this ball to Jeremy Bernard. Throw into a spot, by the way, a perfect throw right in front of the DB. Bernard snags it, turns it into a big gain. So that's just a small sample size example of the multiple things that Ty Simpson's able to do in this offense. They utilize tight ends. They utilize the screen game. They had another trick play work in this game late on 4th down to seal the game. They're going to get 1 or 2 of those a game. They have receivers that can hurt you on the intermediate stuff and down the field, receivers that can take the ball away, receivers with catch and run. They also have a quarterback that has used mobility at times, pretty good with it. When they ask him to, not going to live and die there, but he can do it when he needs to, so they can move the pocket. They can give you different read plays. There's a lot of things that are happening there. Oh, and by the way, we have a quarterback that will bludgeon the middle of the field. Not a lot of quarterbacks in college football ever have had that. The ones that do end up being pretty good. Tua did it. Burrow did it. These quarterbacks that are elite push the ball down the middle of the field. So, yeah, there are some technical fundamental problems, but it's not just the offensive line. It's not just the backs. It's not just the fronts they're running into. By the way, also, like just another sidebar to this, that LSU front's pretty good. Like that's a good football defense. So I don't think you look at that and get overly concerned if they're getting wins against you. Bernard Gooden's having a good year at D-tackle. Also, Jacoby Guillory's having a pretty good year at D-tackle. Patrick Payton's played a lot of football. Well, you got Ram Man over there on the edge that's just crashing everything, playing the ends. I mean, it's a good front. It's a good defense. It's an experienced defense. It's an attacking defense. So there's going to be commotion caused by that. You're not always just going to work everything out. So some of these things that we're seeing, detail-oriented, can they be repaired? Yes. But also keep in mind, this is not a team that just lines up and runs the ball. So to ask them to be perfectionists at that, probably not going to happen this year. Now, are there going to be some gotta-have-it moments where Daniel Hill needs to be the hammer that he's showing he can be and get downhill and pick up short yardage, first downs, touchdowns? Yeah, absolutely. You're going to need that at some point in time. But as I pointed out before, you have receivers you've put in the backfield, a quarterback that can also run the ball. I'm not alarmed by it. It's not a massive problem for me because there's so many other outlets in which they can find to go move the football successfully. That being said, there are some issues up front with the offensive line. I thought Center played a great game again. I think he might be the best offensive lineman in college football because I think he does more things well than any other player I've seen. Logan Jones out at Iowa is really good. You got a couple tackles out there that are good, but he's just special, man. Like he's really good. I think tight end was great in this game. Cuevas had a couple big catches. Mattered, needed it. Bernard lining up in different places, the direct snap on the trick play. He just continues to show his value for this team. All that being said, the defense is where I kind of came away from this game feeling really good about Alabama. This defensive front moved more than it has all year. I don't need to ask that question or hypothesize on that. I know that. The run twists, the stunts, the movement, the slants, more than ever. First play of the game, they slant. 18 off the edge makes the tackle for loss. 18 had a great game, by the way. He is good at the line of scrimmage. I know a lot of people have a bad taste in their mouth about the first game. He's played really well since. This may be one of his better games. I thought he was fantastic. Up front, I think you're getting different guys do different things for you and giving you some good football. 22 and 31 were really nice in their pass rush reps for this defense. I think you got maybe an elite pass rusher in 42 starting to come on, do some really nice things. He's got that long stab, speed to power he's really good with. They don't have the elite pass rusher, but you got a couple of guys who were coming on doing some good things for you. And this movement, Keenum was involved in that sometimes. I think it was really good how that worked out. I'm going to show you a couple of plays here where it worked out right to where Alabama could easily make the stop. And we talked about it on Read and React as well this week, but here's a little bit of what Kane Wommack had this group doing. Here's the movement from the Alabama defense we were discussing. So first off, you got the gun offset. I mean, how many different runs can you run out of here? Probably going here. So Kane Wommack probably feels pretty good about trying to jam things up over here. So watch the play run through, go back and explain to you kind of how and why this happens. So you're going to get a little run, stunt, a twist over to the left side of the offensive line. Penetration here, looper here. And watch Tim Keenum end up exactly in this B gap where the running back is. Bam, there it is. Just an inability to adjust by the left tackle leaves Keenum right inside the hole right there. And it's because when that penetrator comes down, you can see he's going to take our attention away, penetrate down inside, retrack in, and that allows the loop man to be able to come free and make this play. This is what happened time and time again in this game for Alabama. The movement up front, which I had not seen a ton of this year, more in this game than we had seen all season, ended up being big, slowing down the LSU rushing attack. So I thought the linebackers were active. I thought Jefferson was fast, struggled in coverage a little bit as the game went on. But all in all, this was an impressive performance from Alabama. It wasn't, totally dominant on offense as some people would like it to be. But when you're going up against Perkins and Jack Pyburn and some of these guys, you're going to take losses across the course of a game. You just are. 20-9, you get a rivalry win. You get to 8-1. Kalen DeBoer's never lost a game inside that stadium. You take that and you move on, man. Like you just move on with it, and you're fine. 344 to 232 yards. Like, was there a little bit of an old school nature here to this game? There was, but you take it, you move on, you continue trying to push for an SEC championship game berth. So I was impressed with a lot of facets of what Alabama did, but I realize that there are some people that can nitpick parts of it and just kind of look at it and say, all right, this isn't going to be good enough, but that exact game plan is not going to be what it is against everybody else because they're not going to have those pieces on defense. All right, guys, don't forget about Roback. Supporting Roback right now. Promo code COLE20. Go save 20% on your first order at roback.com. All the team gear is there now. Tennessee, Florida, Ole Miss, Georgia, Texas, Mississippi State, Missouri, Alabama, Auburn. Go grab it. The hoodies, the quarter zips, the polos, the T-shirts. It's the most comfortable gear out there. These hoodies and the thick hoodies for when it's starting to cool off. They have the cool little quarter zip fleece for really getting cold. The best gear is at Roback, man. Go to roback.com now. Use promo code COLE20 and get yours. Vanderbilt and Auburn, overtime. Vanderbilt gets the win. A lot of people are talking about the Auburn offense and the energy the team had under DJ Durkin. It looks so different. That's cool. That's great. Don't forget to credit Vanderbilt for actually winning this football game. That also needs to be done. Clark Lee, Diego Pavia, this football team deserves credit for being pushed to the limit and finding a way to come back and win. 45-38, they get the win. Ashton Daniels, 31 of 44, 353, 2 touchdowns, no picks, ran 18 times for 89 yards and 2 touchdowns. He looked great. And a lot of folks are saying new plays. What was it? New formations. The only thing that looked new to me was tempo and decisiveness on where to get the football. It appeared to me, watching this game, that they basically, and this is something I don't think has happened before. Just by my eyes, watching it, it appeared as though members of that staff went to certain players and said, what do you like to do? What do you feel comfortable doing? What do you think you're good at? They took those things. They went and saw the matchups they were probably going to get and said, let's feed Eric Singleton the ball there this way. If 8 has a one-on-one, let's just throw it to him every time. Who cares? Get him the ball. It'll probably work. When we get a lighter box, hand it off to 23 so he can go hammer people. And he did. Thought he ran extremely well. I thought he ran hard. I thought this was one of Jeremiah Cobb's best games. Also, as a lead blocker, in Q runs, he had a couple nice blocks. So it wasn't just rushing the football. I will say Mason Murphy down at center made a big difference. That gave that offensive line a little extra oomph. Jeremiah Wright was out of his mind. One of his better games in an Auburn uniform. Dylan Wade at left guard, one of the better games of the season for him there. Too Tall Miller at right tackle was solid. Now, it wasn't like they were perfect. Did they give some things up? Sure, they did. The tempo helped. They caught Vanderbilt misaligned a couple of times or not even lined up a few times. I think that assisted in it greatly. And instead of all the quick game being at or behind the line of scrimmage, crazy concept, some of it was 5 yards down the field or 10 yards down the field, which can still qualify as quick game on a slant or a hitch or a comeback. But let's give the receivers 5 yards to get their head start on making a play after the catch and trying to go create an explosive. It's wild, I know. Direct quarterback runs with confidence. So essentially what I'm saying I think they did is they took all the confusion out of this for Ashton Daniels. And they said, go 1-2, run. Go 1, run. If you get this look, run. And they were able to pick up the pace by doing so. I think some of it caught Vanderbilt off guard. I thought some of the interior of that defensive line for Vandy did some good things. I thought Longwell and Patterson had good games off the ball. Fontenette was coming down from safety, making some plays. But you had Corday Snyder had some nice pass rush. Linus Zunk did some good things. Jalen Stone did some good things. I thought they were active up front, but they got taken out of their gaps a little bit, tried to slip some blocks, jump some gaps, and that opened some things up in the Auburn run game. And honestly, Auburn won contested balls down the field. Like Cam Coleman won contested balls. Eric Singleton turned high percentage throws into bigger gains. And that was ultimately the difference. Because once they started hitting the balls on the outside, you had to say, we can't let them over the top anymore, and that's going to open up the run game. And they took advantage of that. And they went +1 in the run game with Q runs a lot of the times, which you already had the numbers advantage, and then you add a blocker, you're going to have even more of a run advantage. So I thought it was brilliant to sort of simplify. I don't like saying dumb down. Simplify things and then go out there and give players confidence to run the things that they know they're going to be good at. So That's kind of what I saw from that one defensively. I thought 10 brought the juice again. Amaris Williams, I thought he was flying in there, doing some good things. Big 35 in the middle for the Auburn defense. Dallas Walker getting a good push, eating up some blocks. I thought he was solid inside. Xavier Atkins playing fast again, all over the place. Robert Woodyard, another solid game for Auburn inside. I did not think later in the game, when it became a little bit more of a drop back game, that they did a good enough job caging Diego Pavia or getting Diego Pavia to the ground. You let him run loose, and then he has the option to throw or run, he's going to break you down every time. He's just too good at it. A couple defenders left their feet on pump fakes. I still say Texas A&M is the only team this year that I've seen do it on a regular basis. Run at the quarterback like this till they get to him and don't leave their feet. They're like the only team in America that I've seen do that on a consistent basis. But it's hard. Every other team does it. But you got great effort. You had good energy. But I give Pavia and company a lot of credit. Like, I'll still say, man, it is a no-brainer for me. Cedric Alexander is the most underappreciated, underrated player in this league. He had a couple of big blocks. He had a couple of tough runs, catching the ball out of the backfield. Like, the kid just does everything well. And it might not be A++ at everything, but it's B++ across the board, no doubt. Big game for Eli Stowers. Big game for Trey Richardson. Trey Richardson, a guy we told you earlier in the season that Tim Beck went out and said, we got to add speed on the outside so people can't defend us a certain way. And we want to use it this way, and we want to use it this way. And it's paid off for him. And it paid off for him big in this game because he had some big catches down the field and helped make Auburn pay. It was a great plan on the Auburn side. It was a great plan on the Vandy side. Vandy just made a couple more plays later, man. Tough loss for Auburn. Love what DJ Durkin's saying about it. Love how he's addressing it. Love how he's handling it, doing things the way that he needs to. But I think now you look forward and, like, you got a little more oomph on that offensive line. Good in combos, Mason Murphy was with those two guards, because you have two guards that can get you a push. I thought that showed like an inside run could be good no matter who you play moving forward. Daniel's more confident in his runs, more confident in getting rid of the football, which has been a problem for the room the whole year. So if that's repaired, you're going to have big advantages moving forward. And from a Vanderbilt perspective, man, just find ways. Just find ways. Pavia throwing for 350, running for 200, handing it off 35 times. Like, just keep finding ways, man, and special things could potentially be happening for you down the road. So nice win for Vandy. Love some of the adjustments I saw from Auburn. But at the end of the day, not enough to actually go out there and get that one done. All right, Georgia takes down Mississippi State 41-21. Tweeted something out earlier in the week and got a lot of negative blowback. I kind of thought this was going to happen because it's been happening for years. But I'm watching this game, and I'm going through it, and I'm rewinding plays, and I keep thinking to myself, Mike Bobo is really doing a nice job with this offense. And I know some of y'all can't handle that. Like, your ears just won't accept it. Don't care. The options that they have on every play gives defenses fits. And with an over-aggressive defense like you were playing here, those things came in handy. I mean, you're showing power that way, screen this way, with options down the field. I'll give you an example of one play where just these options show up here, and we'll take a look at how Bobo's drawing some things up. All right, quick example of what Bobo's doing offensively here. I love the gun pro set formation. So two backs here, shotgun, tight end into the line of scrimmage. So just watch all the misdirection that you're going to get. So receiver as one of the backs, and Zion Branch, he's going to motion out. Watch how he pulls defenders with him. Then you're going to get two pullers with this, and run game is going to go right up in there. But it's that motion and then play fake that is just going to throw the defense off. So you got tight end into the boundary here. There go your two pullers. Tight end blocks back down, and it's off to the races. And, of course, this visual deception with that motion right there, you can see the defenders adjust. Now the tight end can block down. You got double here and pull, and it's off to the races. Defense just not necessarily manned up. Great block by 4 at tight end to be able to spring that thing. Just some of the visual deception that continues to be brought to the table by Mike Bobo in this Georgia offense. Faking screens, running screens, pre-snap options. Pretty cool to see kind of what they're doing, how they're doing it, managing all this inside this offense. On top of that, Gunnar Stockton is really showing that he can be a playmaker in this offense. Like, his comfort level, his understanding, the ball's coming out quick, the ball's coming out on time, when to tuck the ball and run. There's no second guessing himself of getting out of the pocket. There's no whirlybirds in the pocket trying to sit around and make plays. Like, he is decisive on getting the football out and getting it down the field. And some of these playmakers are showing up, like Noah Thomas. Hadn't been there all year. Here he goes. This kid, Elias Williams, the tight end, holy moly. Like, this kid's going to be a freak show. Great block down on the goal line as well. He had like 2 or 3 good blocks in this game. Hey, he's willing. And as a lighter, longer, leaner tight end, especially as a freshman, if you're willing to stick your face mask in there and try to block people, we good. We're going to make it happen. Excellent catch as well in this game. I love getting Dylan Bell involved in different ways. Again, handing in the football. He had the one end around, which was good. Nate Frazier ran the ball well. Chauncey Bowens ran the ball well. This offensive line, guys, I'm telling you, it has not been great all year, but it's kind of starting to come along. Monroe Freeling had a really nice game. He did a lot of extra things here. Like, I was impressed with some of the things that he was doing. He's a guy that I like the attitude, the demeanor. I like the way he attacks things. Obviously, Bobo's been solid at center for the majority of this season. And you've had some freshmen that are playing, and you're sitting there wondering, like, is this going to cost us? Is this going to be good? How is this going to go? But, I mean, it's just kind of getting better and better, and you're starting to feel better about it. Dontrell Glover, great pulling, getting movement, point of attack, he was good. And I'm just going to tell you guys, Juan Gadsden moves people. He is a literal earth mover in a Georgia uniform. And what was big for Georgia in this game were the down blocks. So the pin and pull stuff, like on Read and React, you show us all the big collisions with the pullers out there. Gaston, Glover, Freeling, they're all out there just mowing people down. But what really made them go was when guys on the edges, the tackles, and even sometimes the guards are blocking down, sometimes tight ends too. But mainly Big 73, when he's blocking down, it's like 2 gaps over. And those Mississippi State defenders got removed from those gaps. The linebackers weren't going to be able to operate in that traffic, and it was just easy pickings a little bit later in the game. I thought State played hard. I thought they played aggressive. This is a bad matchup for them defensively. It just is. Like, they're not big enough, bulky enough yet to be able to handle this and manage it. Like, that's not really who they are just yet. But they fought, man. Like, I give them credit for getting out there and fighting. There are a couple kids on this State team that I look at, like Brylan Lanier. That dude has no regard for his body. None. And maybe people will say he can't cover, or maybe people will say he's in the wrong place. But I know this, that dude will come up and throw his body on a 330-pound puller or a big physical 225-pound running back. Like, he'll fly across the field. Now, tackles with his chest a little bit too often. I can see he gets his shoulder down in there some. Like, let's not break our sternum. But the dude has no regard for human life. Like, he does not even have regard for his own body. He puts it on the line, and you see other guys on this defense that are doing that on a regular basis. So, like Manning, I saw Kelly Jones using that length, batting balls down deep. Like, you can see, like, he's a big, long corner. He did some nice things defensively, but they ran themselves out of some plays. They got washed down on some plays, and that gave up the big hitters. And ultimately, that was a little bit too much. I thought Gunnar Stockton, see, he's operating the offense well. It's very similar to Ty Simpson. What's happening here is screen game, down the field, quarterback run, traditional runs, and with the traditional runs, inside zone, duo, counter, power, toss, Q run. They have all of it. They have tight ends that can play, receivers that can go attack the ball, brands can run after the catch. And I think sometimes with these offenses that we're seeing right now, we always beg for balance. And now we're seeing a couple offenses that are really balanced, but none of the balance is super elite. And people are getting concerned about it, or people are trying to put it down a little bit. Georgia and Bama are kind of in the same boat here for me, as they do a lot of things really well. I would much rather play against a team that does one thing better than anybody else than the team that does everything really well. And that's what these 2 teams are. They're balanced. They have balanced attacks, and they have 2 guys that know how to operate the offense. And I think it makes them very different. Defensively for Georgia, I liked what the D-line did. Christian Miller had some good reps up front. I feel good about how they were playing. I thought the linebackers were active, both 3 and 5. C.J. Allen was all over the place. K.J. Bolden, good coming down from his safety spot. Raylan Wilson was great again. They don't have the big edge presence, but you do get Justin Williams kind of lining up in some different places, doing different things. Xavier McLeod coming on. This Elijah Griffin kid, 90, I feel like is starting to get really good positive reps. Like, he's starting to make some plays, do some things. I like 90. I think he's going to be somebody that helps him here down the stretch. 33 versus pullers. Quintavious Johnson, fun to watch. Like, he attacked pullers. That's one of the things I thought Georgia did in this game, even though misdirection kind of got them a couple of times. Like, they attacked one thing, stayed with it, and made Mississippi State pay for it. And also what I saw Georgia do a little bit later in this game, they played lighter in the box, so 4 or 5 in the box, and State still couldn't get a lot of run game going consistently. Bust one or two here and there, but couldn't consistently get that going. Now, I also liked when the quarterback or the pocket would move, defenders on the edge kind of stayed flat, basically saying, no, you're going to have to throw it and beat us. You're not running it and beating us. Specifically when the backup quarterback came in. So Blake Shapen gets knocked out of this game. Just a whiff by the left tackle, inside protection, by the way. So Kamario Taylor comes in, gives you a little more run threat. I think he has the ability to make the runs. It's just the decision making. Like Blake Shapen usually knows when to get that ball out, how to get that ball out, when to tuck it and run. The quick distribution that he offers, I think, is something that you just miss big time when he's not in the game. And there were shot plays there once again for Mississippi State's offense. I mean, this is every single week we talk about the 4 or 5 shot plays that could have been for this offense. And we said it last week, got to hit them. Got to hit the shot plays if you're going to go win this football game. And they missed a couple early, still came up with 1 or 2, but just not really what you needed. Brennan Thompson was great at wide receiver. I love watching him play football, but I'm just going to say the other guy outside of 3 on defense is 24, Fluff Bothwell. Like this kid gets downhill. He gets to full speed as fast as humanly possible, and he just is ready to try and run through anything that's in front of him. Doesn't always run through those things, but he is ready to try and run through those things. Like it's awesome to watch, man. Like he is a fun football player to watch, and he kind of epitomizes what this team has been this year. A couple of these guys that just play above their skis, play out in front of their skis from a talent perspective, give you all the effort, not afraid of contact, hard nose. Future's bright, man. This was a bad matchup for State. It just was. This is not their game right now. They'll get to it, but it's not their game right this second. Georgia gets to win 41-21. They go to 8-1. State's at 5-5. 2 games left. I'll be on the call for their game at Missouri this week and then the Egg Bowl to become bowl eligible. All right, guys, don't forget about Game Day Men's Health. If you're feeling on edge, if you're lacking sleep, lacking energy, you need to go to GameDayMen'sHealth.com today. GameDayMen'sHealth.com. Tell them you heard about them here. Sign up for the free consultation, free PSA test, free testosterone test. They're going to get all your vitals, and they're going to say, hey, we think the peptides can help you out. We have a weight loss program for you. Multiple ways in which you can go just be a better you. Lose some weight, get the testosterone replacement, get the peptides going, whatever that is that you might need, they are going to be able to help. They want you to feel better and be a better you each and every day. Go to GameDayMen'sHealth.com now, open in Trustville. All right, Kentucky takes down Florida. This is the game that we were on. Woof, Florida. Thought coming out, had a good plan. It was going to be heavy Jaden Ball, forcing the football early. Run game's kind of hit and miss. Becomes a DJ Lagway pass-a-thon. That turns into interceptions. Second half, you go to the backup, Trammell Jones, and it felt like nobody really was interested in playing football after that. You're down a couple receivers. I get it. That position was thin. I thought the offensive line might be able to lean and open some things up, but it was the other side. It was a Kentucky offensive line that leaned and really opened some things up and caused some problems. So what I saw from Florida here, too much time in the pocket, trying to force things down the field. It wasn't going to be there. Brad White's defense is not going to give you a ton of shots and ton of plays down the middle of the field. He's going to play what appears to be like a little bit of a Tampa 2 at times. So that middle safety, robber linebacker that's going in and out is going to be a problem. It was for DJ Lagway. And you give this Kentucky D-line credit, man. Like they've been solid most of this year, but like they really stepped up in this game. Jaden Williams was great in this game. He kind of goes inside and outside. Jared Smith made some good plays. Khalil Saunders was really good. Gusta was really good in the middle of this defense. They couldn't get – I thought you'd get more stretch and try to make this defense run. Florida didn't really want to live there. Here's the problem with the stretch plays, the same thing we talk about with LSU. You can't run it out of gun offset running back. So many of these teams are just like limiting the amount of run plays that you can be successful with just by formation. That's it. You got to go pistol or you got to go under center to open up the run book and force the defense to even up. All these defenses are tilting everything. Like they know the couple runs that can come. They're going to tilt the pressure because they don't think you can pick it up. And then if you do pick it up, they don't think you can complete the pass. Like defenses are playing high risk right now, and it's working pretty much across the board. Like it is working more times than it's not. We're going to get to A&M, and that's like one of the best examples of it. A&M had an amazing plan, by the way. We'll show you that in just a second, too. All right, so Brad White's defense, great plan. Took away what they had to have. That was stretch play, zone play. Couldn't get it going. Kentucky, on the other hand, they got the gap scheme going, man. And I'm going to tell you, for Joshua Braun, look personal. Jalen Farmer, look personal. Jagger Burton had a good game. Shiaz Pete, running the ball, good game. Pass game, he still struggles in pass pro just a little bit. But Cutter Boley's starting to figure it out, man. like Cutter Boley on the move, get rid of the football. The ball still comes out high with him. I don't know what it is. Like when he releases it, it like goes up. I was trying to think of who that reminds me of. I think like one of the Brahms used to throw like that. Like they would throw it and the ball like raises as soon as it comes out. And it like worries me every time he throws it because I feel like he's just overthrowing everybody. But that was a big win for them. This is a team that people completely counted out like 2-3 weeks ago, said they were done. Offensive line physical. They get them into a Mark Stoops style football game and turnovers lead to more points and then they just walk away from them. So you feel good about where this run game is, where the quarterback is getting to. I'm not going to say he's there just yet. But you go out there and Dante Dowdell goes over 100. Seth McGowan almost has 100. Like you got downhill on this defense in a hurry. And as the game went on, I can just tell you against the gap scheme stuff, not a lot of Florida edges were interested in playing it as the game went on. It's on tape. You can go watch it. It was there. So just inept really offensively for Florida, and you finally got some big plays down the field from Kendrick Law. J.J. Hester. Hester is a guy that can help him. DJ Miller is going to be big time. He had a pretty good game. Didn't even need to use the tight ends as much as they normally do. But the defense at the point of attack stepped up. Offensive line, point of attack stepped up, and they took it to Florida, man. Like Florida, after a couple series, just looked disinterested in this game. And they got the turnover first. It looked like they were going to be able to jump on. Kentucky at home, shut the crowd up, and be able to go up big and get some things done. And they just couldn't do it. I did think Cameron James had some good reps. George Gums had some nice reps off the edge. They were able to get to Cutter Boley a couple of times, but that wasn't going to be enough. His mobility helped, and they went out and did some really good things. So I was impressed with what Kentucky showed. Now they're going to fight for a bowl game too. So you got Tennessee Tech, 10-0, by the way. Be careful, Kentucky. Be careful, Kentucky. Obviously, Louisville, we know what that game means. We know what that game's going to be. All right, A&M in Missouri. Love the defensive plan from A&M. First off, spike the stretch play. They did that. They've done it almost every time they played him under Elko. Like he's got the guys to be able to do that. He's got those edge defenders that can do that. Marcel Reed starting to run the ball just a little bit more. One, comfortable leaving the pocket when he's asked to pass. Two, they're drawing up those design runs. I will say this. There are a couple that he missed. He had a couple drops. And there are a couple that he threw into coverage that easily could have been intercepted and were not. Cannot continue to have those. Bigger the game, the more highlighted those are going to be, and those things can't be happening. The failures in short yardage, having to have 3, 4, 5 reps to be able to get the ball in or across the first down marker, your offensive line is good enough to be able to convert these. Your running back's good enough to be able to convert these. Reuben Owens, by the way, like there's little details about Reuben Owens that I'm not going to show them, but you need to pay attention to. Like he will use his head, his vision to throw linebackers off. So there's one inside zone play. He's running to the right, and he kind of leans his head just like this, and you see the linebacker immediately go over the block. There's a block happening in front of him, and he leans over. It's like Owens just peeks, and he comes back under that block. So he uses that block, and then it's boom, he's out the gate. Like he has a great feel of how to run the football and how plays are going to open up and where plays are going to go and where plays are going to end. Like he's a really good back. We know he's physical. We know he knows how to get it. 13 for 102, 2 touchdowns. The offensive line pretty good in this game. But I'll say this, like this is a good D line they played. This is a really good defensive line that they played. Well, front 7 because Tristan Newsome downhill, Josiah Trotter downhill. These linebackers will attack. Marvin Burks from safety will attack. However, nobody's talking about some of these interior defensive linemen from Missouri, and they can play. Like Chris McClellan, 7, dude can play, man. Sterling Webb, 10, he was a problem in this game. That doesn't mean he's making 8 tackles, but he's hitting pullers. He's denting the pocket. He's back there penetrating in short yardage, forcing the back to make cuts. So they got some guys. So I'm not overly concerned about A&M not handling them all the time. They got enough possessions to where they worked it out. And the receivers still, from a catch and run perspective, are always going to help. Concepcion had a good game. Craver had a good game. Not as much down the field in this one, but they do have that understanding of catch and run, getting them in the flat. They're starting to use some flood concepts on the outside, and they just widen you out. You know quarterback run's coming, so you're probably going to play a little bit off, and then they'll hit you with Reuben Owens. There's plenty to clean up, but the offensive line did get after it. They did show physicality. They did finish. I was impressed with that part of this game for A&M. But really and truly, it was the defense, man. Like, this group just gets after you. And they fly around. Damian Sanford was all over the place. Marcus Radcliffe was flying around making plays. Regis was really good inside. Cersei good off the edge. obviously, man, like we know what Cassius Howell is. Like I think he's up for Defensive Player of the Year. He's spiking runs. He's getting pressure. That little dip and rip that he's got, like, I don't know if people aren't watching it on film. Like, you got to come up with something different to try to stop it because nobody's really stopping it. And he was fortunate that Zollers was getting the ball out quickly, or else it would have been worse. Zollers a little bit lost, not ready for this moment. It's okay. It's understandable. He's a freshman, but that was a lot for him, and didn't think that he was put in a good spot to be able to handle it. But it's the way that Elko draws some of these up. I'm going to show you one pressure here from A&M. This is exactly what Bob Stoops did to us when he was at Florida when I played at Auburn. They had Alex Brown, who had like 8 sacks against Tennessee a couple weeks earlier. We're setting every protection to 13. We're sliding to 13. Backs going to 13. And I don't think they rushed him once the whole game. And then here comes everybody from the other side. And we were done. We were dead as soon as the game started. Because by the time we figured it out, we didn't have iPads on the sideline. By the time we figured it out, we adjusted. They were up like 28-0, and it was lights out O'Reilly. So, and they haven't done this year. They haven't rushed away from Howell and dropped him back a whole lot this year. So, like, this is a newer plan that you put in to go up against this team, and it ends up working. Like, you heard Drink after the game talking about the third down pressures, man. Like, it is just hell on wheels to deal with. It really is. Take a look at this pressure from Texas A&M. Like I said, this is something similar to what Florida did against us with Alex Brown, Cassius Howell right here. Obviously, he's going to draw a lot of attention. I mean, you get 12 personnel, 2 tight ends in the game from Missouri right here. I'm going to let this play go. You watch it, and then I'll go back and kind of diagnose it for you just a little bit more as to what's happening. All right, so sliding that protection to the right, should have 2 blockers in to be able to help. The slide protection is what gets you, though, because look, when we slide it, all of a sudden now, waste. So 2 offensive linemen being wasted. Tight end does a nice job right here, kind of trying to just get an arm out and stab a little bit, trying to help. Knows he's in trouble, not going to be able to get that done. You keep 2 tight ends in the block and then slide it to Cassius Howell. That's the attention that he brings you. And what do we tell you that you need to do in slide protection all the time? You got to occupy both, and then retrace, which is what happens here. And because it's slide protection and everybody's sliding this way, they play robotic and don't understand how to be football players and can't go back and pick this up, and it gets your quarterback hit and it causes a turnover. So it's an excellent design, excellent thought, using your best player against your opponent. But I was impressed with A&M, impressed with the run game, impressed with both D-lines, really and truly, to be honest with you. I thought the Missouri offensive line missed some things, like the continuity working together wasn't as smooth as it has been in some other games. But Ahmad Hardy, dude, like, goodness gracious. Roberts goes for 110, Hardy goes for 109. Most of these were on bigger runs, specifically Hardy. So he averaged 8.4 per. I'm not overly concerned about the rush defense from A&M because I know where some of these are coming. Like the Utah State game was one that you look at and say, whoa, I don't like that. Shouldn't be happening that way. But I'm not as concerned as some other people just saying like, oh, they can't stop the run. It's not true. Just some teams, based on how they've played, other things that they've done, have been able to gobble up some yards, some later in games when the game was essentially over. And I think also the way A&M has played some teams, essentially saying, you're not going to get us over the top. If you want to go run for 4 or 5 a clip, good. We'll tackle you and you won't beat us. So that's kind of my thought on that one. All right, A&M gets to 9-0. Missouri gets to 6-3 on the season. All right, guys, don't forget about my friends at Pizza Pulls. We're trying to get back into the hobby like me and my boys. We're going to go to Fanatics Live right there every Wednesday night. I'm going to be breaking college football. Bowman U in stock now. We've got it. We actually have a full case of Breakers Delight that's in right now. You can go check it out. So go to search, go to pizza, go to shops, and you're going to see Pizza Pulls right there. Bam. There it is right there. Wednesday. You can go in and go grab a team right now if you want to. We've been ripping this stuff, man. What do we got here recently? We got a little Braylon Russell, first off print out of 50. My guy Cedric Alexander on the silver. Got that one. Got some autos. Luke Altmaier, Dante Moore. Got a couple autos. Jeremy Bernard in there. So, yeah, we've been pulling them, man. It's been fun. It's a cool product. We're going to be ripping it again Wednesday. Go to pizzapulls.com or go to Fanatics Live. Find Pizza Pulls. Go in there and get you a team right now in this delightful case that we're going to break on Wednesday. There are a ton of autos coming out of that, ton of numbered cards. You can get in there with us Wednesday night at Pizza Pulls. Finally, Citadel Ole Miss. So I actually learned some things in this game. I know a lot of times we get these kind of games and everybody's like, oh, waste of time. I'm not watching that. Keywan Lacey ran hard. Love Damian Taylor running the ball. Good to see Logan Diggs again. I don't know if he can help him in a playoff stretch or whatever, but it's good to see him out there. Austin Simmons was came in, did some good things throwing the football, did have the pick, but Trinidad Chambliss, man, like 29-33, comfortable in the pocket, quick distribution, let your playmakers make plays. However, we saw Trace Buckler at tight end. We also saw Luke Haas at tight end. These guys are going to be big down the stretch because Daquan Wright's been getting too many reps for the first half, 3/4 of the season. Those guys have been dinged up. If they can come in and help and offer more 12, 13 personnel stuff, and there's just going to be even more formations that Charlie Weiss and Lane can put on people here in the last little playoff championship into the season run, that's going to be really good for Ole Miss. Offensive line still, like, I like how they're kind of getting some things going, working together just a little bit. And defensively, also Caleb Odin at tight end. He's a big physical red zone target that's going to be able to help you out. We've seen some of this year, but not consistent. Maybe he's somebody you saw a little bit of this game, getting some more reps, potentially can help you. But up front on defense, Andrew Maddox, really good game. Perkins on the edge was incredible because this was like a wing T, shotgun, like spread gun option offense. There's a couple like mashed together. Requires a lot of discipline, requires you a lot of patience. And Perkins was the perfect guy on the edge to play it. He's playing flat. He's attacking the mesh. He's rushing the passer when need be. He's playing out in the flat. Like, he had a great game. And it wasn't just numbers, but it was like what he did to force other things to happen. Uman Mielen had some good reps in this game. He was disciplined as well. Cam Franklin in and out, really valuable piece. Like, this wasn't a Xavier Harris game. This wasn't like an Eccles game where they were going to dominate inside because so much is going to go off tackle. But those edge guys did a great job of sort of maintaining things, keeping things in front, forcing things to spill outside. It was a really nice job by them. Offensive line was great in protection in this game. So you got good quality reps there. Like, there were real takeaways here if you go watch it. Like, dive into actually what it was and how it happened. So, all right, that's this week. We got a big week coming up this weekend. Quick preview for you guys of just like what I'm looking for on the surface of this week. Almost very similar to what I said about Texas and Oklahoma. Like, the Bama offensive line has got to manage that group. If they let the defensive line get going, it could be a long day. Still don't know if the Oklahoma secondary is great or not. I don't think they're great, but I don't have a ton of confidence that Alabama's offensive line can just shut them down. So quick throws, balls on the perimeter. We saw a couple of those quick throws to Cuevas, like right up the seams, just barely. A couple of those if they want to pressure you, but be careful of the pressure people bailing. You have to be aware of that. Ty Simpson has to be aware of that. Defensively, you just got to wrangle John Mateer, man. Like, make him turn it over a couple of times. LSU, Arkansas, I mean, who knows? South Carolina A&M, you got to keep the edges. Brian Thomas, Dylan Stewart in check, and just don't let Lenore Sellers get going on the ground. We've had a couple of teams that played South Carolina this year, and they've essentially said, our job is to make him hand it off. They want the other players to have the ball in their hand. You can't let him get going on the ground because then everything else opens up. Ole Miss, Florida, man, I tell you, going into last week, I'd have said this is probably the toughest game left for Ole Miss. I don't think so anymore. If you're going to be rotating quarterbacks, these receivers are checking out. You know, Tanks, he's quit on the team, whatever. Like, it's hard for me to find a lot of ways. Florida has good players still. They have really good players. But I just don't know where they are. And then going to Oxford, I think that one's going to be tough. They're going to spread them out. They're not going to let the defensive line sort of take over that game, make them run a little bit. And defensively, I'm interested to see if Florida dedicates themselves to it and wants to run the stretch play, because I think they can have some success with it, but they have to be dedicated to it in this game. Texas, Georgia, once again, Georgia tackles, manage the edge defenders. This is one where Texas has to show me that they're ready to fight. Like, they've got a little extra oomph and they're ready to go toe-to-toe. Because the last couple of times we've seen this, when Georgia basically came in and said, let's find out who's the better dude, and Georgia was. So Missouri, Mississippi State got to stay at home. Eye discipline on defense. Cannot let all of this get you going in different directions. And Ahmad Hardy's going to be going there if that's the case. He's going to be scoring. But with a new quarterback, I'm interested to see if the state defense can cause some real problems. They may have a new quarterback of themselves. How that goes. Probably the quarterback that doesn't make the most mistakes could go out and win this game. If State is getting ball carriers to the ground, that absolutely has to happen. Appreciate you guys tuning in. We will be back next week.